Hello everyone, this is Season Novo 992 and today we're back from the brand new video and we finally have something to talk about that isn't just painful match recaps. Nah, we finally have something we can sink our teeth into that tastes a little bit better, and that is going to be a fun little distraction of our Rangers Rumour video. It's been a while, I know you have all want a centre back, I know it's no a centre back, yes I am a little bit sad about that, but there's a Rangers rumour that's arguably the worst kept secret in football, but as it's edging closer and closer to happening, or what I believe to be happening I should say, then we thought we'd go ahead and talk about none other than Mr. Lyall Cameron. Now I know this has been out in the media a lot over the last week or two, but if you've been watching this channel it's been about 6 months or 12 we'll be talking about this laddie and how much of a move this is going to be as we'll watch his contract sort of tick down. But again, this is just a Rangers rumour video as I'm currently recording, so take that with a pinch of salt. Yes, it looks good, yes, it sounds good, but these things could fall apart and crumble at the very end. It's never a confirmation, no matter what people say down in the comment section below. But as it is so close and as it does feel real, let's go ahead and talk about the man then, shall we? Let's kick the old tyres. Let's have a wee look underneath the hood and see what Lyall Cameron is all about and no get lost on whether or not it is going to happen. Let's go ahead and talk about if it should. So yeah, let's go ahead and dive in to the old player profile. And I do find myself in a very interesting position because I know a lot of people tuning in has probably seen this laddie play, so they know what he's got, we know what he's good at, and we know where he needs to improve, especially if you just watch these preview videos. Well, you've probably heard me in length talking about a Lyall Cameron, or if you watch this video made over a year ago about the 5 talents in Scottish football I believe Rangers should sign. We've already signed one of those 5 in terms of Connor Barron, and it looks like we're starting to slowly but surely chase down Mr. Lyall Cameron as well to add him to the ranks. It's just unfortunate the other player that I mentioned from Dundee has went to the other side of the city, but aye, that's one that possibly got away. He's a very talented player, but he is such an important part of Lyall Cameron's story and development, especially since August. But more on that in a little bit, because we're here to talk about Lyall Cameron. Again, he is a 22-year-old centre midfielder. He's not going to fill the bill of the big, tall, strong midfielder. It's going to do this or it's going to do that. That's not his game. He stands at around 5'9" if you're being generous, so he doesn't fix our height issue. But again, for me, if you get defenders winning their duels and doing their jobs, your midfield can be whatever you want. There was a certain Barcelona team whose average height was about 4'11", and they were no bad. And look, I'm not obviously saying Raskin and Lyall Cameron that is up to that standard, but again, where I do like to moan sometimes, I can't complain and moan about guys' heights in the middle of the park, especially when they've got other attributes and other talents to his game. And he's always been a talent, and he has been a talent that I've looked at for a long time on the channel, but for me he needed a wee bit more game time, and that's what we talked about a year ago in that 5 talented video. Those guys that I felt like were more ready than him, as I felt like he just needed more game time just to really add other notches onto his belt. And for me, it makes me so damn happy that I get to sit here and say he is rapidly starting to do that, as he looks a hell of a lot better player now than he did a year ago. And I thought he was promising then. And how that's happened, it simply comes with game time. It comes with the responsibility. It comes with dealing with pressure of playing week in and week out. And it's why our young players fail and why every other young players that run about the academy seem to succeed. The Lennon Millers, the Lyall Camerons, etc, because they are getting played. The likes of David Watsons and all that as well. They're getting to play football, and Lyall Cameron's took that opportunity to really add different aspects to his game as he's coming a more rounded, more complete player in my personal opinion, because he always had an eye for a goal and an eye for assist. I mean, he was their top goal scorer down in the Championship, firing Dundee on there. He's always been in and around the goals. He was the 3rd top goal scorer last season. He's the the 2nd top goal scorer this season. He's always had that eye for a goal, and that is obviously eye-catching, but it was maybe the other side of the game that he would often frustrate and seem like, yeah, he's still got a wee bit to go, but he is rapidly turning into that. I mean, one of his main highlights so far this season is making a sprint from his own corner all the way back, even when the attacker rounded the goalkeeper and tapped it in, trying to hit it into the back of net. Lyall Cameron burst his arse all the way back and cleared it off the line with a brilliant goal line clearance, and that there is a perfect summary of how he has improved and another dynamic that he's added to his game. He's such a wee complete midfield player now, and that's been so impressive to watch him from an outsider who's admired his attacking talent. He's got a wee bit of son, or he can do a wee bit of that, but now he's actually hard working, getting stuck into challenges and that, and I'm like, Okay, Lyall. Now, of course, I'm not sitting here saying he's a world beater or world-class talent or anything like that, but what he is a very talented midfielder that can play week in and week out in this league, that can handle the physicality of Scottish football, and he doesn't require any time to adjust, and he has got an eye for goal, and he has got an eye for a split pass down the old low block. So for me, that is pretty positive. And for me, with the pennies that apparently we are looking at, obviously with a pre-contract, then maybe trying to bring him in January or at the end of the season for nothing, for me this is just smart business, and smart business is what we use today, bringing in talented players, the best players for the other teams around this country, adding them to their ranks and seeing if they can handle the weight. Maybe he will flush it, maybe he'll not be able to do it. That's the risk you make with every transfer. But what we're seeing is a laddie that's 22 years old, that's got plenty of games under his belt, and he doesn't need any time to require. We've seen how Connor Barron's performed in the Rangers midfield, despite going off the ball the last couple of weeks, how important he was early on in the season. And there is similarities in the way they go about their business and the way they've got that wee bit between their teeth. But again, Lyall's a much more attack-minded player, and he will be able to pick those passes. And I think of the role the likes of Barami's been asked today, and Haji's been asked today, and the likes of Tom Lawrence has been asked today in the middle of the park with all the tracking back, trying to flood into the midfield to make it difficult, not only versus Celtic, we've seen it in other games. For me, I sit and look at that and say, yeah, I see the vision, I see what they're trying to plot here, because that is what Lyall Cameron is all about. Probably a wee bit more advanced in the middle of the park, but he's adding that other parts of the game to be able to come back, track back and get stuck in. So yeah, he's a talented player, but I'm sure you already know that. Something you might not know though is the old numbers and stats, and it's a number and stat generation. This is the part that everybody watches for. It always blows my mind when I look at the video retention. People just skip to this part. They just want to know the numbers and then they're off skiing. That's fair if you want to watch the videos that way. But again, stats don't always tell you a wee bit everything, but for those that love the stats, he's certainly got some impressive ones so far this season. And with 28 games played in all competitions, he has 8 goals and 7 assists, which if you chuck it together, that is 15 goal contributions in 28, meaning he's averaging a goal or assist just over 2 games all season long, which again, for a Dundee side, which no disrespect, isn't exactly dominating every game of football to play, and who has lost arguably their best player, most influential player in terms of Luke McCowan. It could have went all wrong for Dundee and all wrong for Lyall, but Lyall's took that responsibility and ran with it, with having his by far his best season so far in the top flight, and just looking like a danger and Dundee's main man at just 22 years old. But I don't know if it's been the recent recruitment or how we've spent our money over the last couple of years, but hearing about signing a 22-year-old has scarred a lot of people, because naturally you think, oh, here's another guy that's barely played any football, it'll be another project, it'll need to be that. But again, we've tried to rubbish that already in terms of the player profile, because not only has he played 28 games already this season, but he's also got a wealth of experience based on his hard work to earn his way to the top flight of Scottish football. You know what I mean? He wasn't a hand-picked talent for one of the highest academies that's went there and he's just blew onto the scene. No, this is a guy that's had to graft pretty much all the way up from the divisions, as he's got 150 games under his belt, you know what I mean? And that is League One, that is the Championship, where again he was a top goal scorer to help Dundee get to the Premier League, and that is 2 years in the top flight. So he is 22-year-old, but he's got 150 games, and again, he's earned it the hard way. He's had his kicks, he's burst his arse off, and now he's getting a wee bit of the fruits of that labour, or he could be getting it if he comes up the road. That's something to be admiring, seeing somebody take it for that level all the way up to the top. He's certainly got something about him. But as this is supposed to be the numbers and stats section, let's take a wee step back and throw all the numbers at you then, shall we? Having a look at his footballing CV, he has played 115 games of football throughout his career, not including like under 12s and all that stuff for Scotland and everything. We didn't look at any of that stuff. 150 professional top flight matches throughout various leagues in this football pyramid, and in 150 games, sorry, he has scored 33 goals, in which he has 12 assists, which if you chuck all that together, that's 45 goal contributions in 150 games, meaning he averages a goal or assist throughout his entire career at the age of 22, round about every 3.3, 3.4 matches, if the old math is right. Which again, despite some of the level that he played during that run-in, is something you look at and say, yeah, I can get behind that. Yeah, he's done the hard yards. Yeah, he's not anywhere near his prime yet. That is something to build upon, and he could, dare I say, fit into the project that Rangers are trying to do, which is bring in youthful players that's got experience and can impact the game now, but will be worth something later on in the future. Lyall, for me, definitely ticks that box, as he also ticks the old Scottish registration box. That's right, so we then need to strangle the careers of young laddies by giving them zero game time. That's someone that can come in here, either it is in the starting 11 or as a part of the 18, and Avs obviously helps us on that way as well. But enough of the old numbers and stats for those that stay with the video. Let's move away and talk about the competition for places, because does a Lyall Cameron jump right in to the starting 11? Some might say no, some might say aye. What I look at him is he definitely improves the overall squad and the matchday squad. Let's put it that freaking way, you know what I mean? Instead of bringing on duffers like Dowell and everything like that, Lyall Cameron coming in, a wee bit between his teeth, got the eye for the goal, the eye for the assist, fancies it up here. That is an absolute no-brainer. And again, I wouldn't say a lot of the midfielders in the Rangers team has painted themselves in glory so far this season, so there is that argument based on how well Lyall is playing to jump in there and play. But that's the competition for places to me. Does he improve the match day squad? Yeah, he does. I don't know if you agree with that. You can let me know down in the comment section below. But for me, he does, no matter if it's Dundee or no. Again, this is what we used to do when we were a successful team. Cherry picking the best talent. Lyall's Dundee's best talent right now. And right now is interesting, right? Because again, as we've touched on throughout today's video, I've been very impressed in Lyall. I've been keeping an eye on him for a couple of years. I've been giving him a lot of praise over the last couple of years, but again, I felt like he needed more game time, you know what I mean? I didn't think he was quite ready to go. There were still clear flaws in his game, especially if he was coming to the likes of Rangers. But something happened, obviously, that we talked about earlier on the video in terms of Luke McCowan leaving Dundee, to go to Celtic. Luke McCowan was the Dundee heartbeat, you know what I mean? It was Luke McCowan and Lyall Cameron. That, I can sit here and say that despite being a Rangers fan, that's about the level it was in terms of importance and everything like that. Luke was their main man, he got them gone, and Lyall was that talented youngster who could potentially be the heir to the old throne. And after Luke McCowan went ahead and went to Celtic, that left a massive space there, but also a massive opportunity for Lyall. And again, he's went and took all that responsibility, and that's where I think he's definitely got something right there as well, because the best player and the captain's just left. He's the heir apparent. He's the one everyone's been talking about. How many times have you seen somebody crumble and not be able to handle that pressure? But not only did he handle it, he went ahead and took it to a new level, exploding this season with great performances, man of the matches, etc, etc. He's been superb, and I just feel like even though it was like 6 months, the development and how much he's added to his game, realising I can't do this or I can't do that anymore, I've got to be the guy, has really forced him to kick on. And again, add that hard work and tracking back, add those slight challenges and add that bite to his game, and I think it's actually made him who he is today and made him a hell of a lot a better player, and hopefully that progression just continues year upon year if he does come up to the road to Rangers. But aye, that is such an important piece of the puzzle, because pre that to there, he was talented, yeah, he was great, but he was still no at that level. I think giving him the opportunity to step into those shoes, he's went ahead and wore them and tied those laces pretty tight, and he's been excellent. So I thought that was very important to mention as well. For me, he's really kicked on over the last 6 months, and if he keeps progressing like that, he could be a very good player for us. And you've actually got to look at it, if he does come up the road to Rangers, whether it is in January or it is at the end of the season, that is a major blow to what this Dundee side has went ahead and built, losing the two of them, you know what I mean? Not only their captain, but in their future all in a swing. The only thing you would say is they've recruited very well and they build their squads very well, as they've shown not only versus Rangers but also versus Celtic. They've definitely got something and a wee touch with the scouting, and you know what I mean, he's got a wee eye for talent, and that's what talent actually brings you, ladies and gentlemen. Good results and good performances, and that's what Lyall's brought them on his way to. Top goal scorer here, third top goal scorer here, high assists here, player of the year, awards. He's pretty much done it all over the last couple of years, so he's definitely the right type of mentality I want to see in a team. He's a grafter, he's a fighter, and he's came up the hard way, and that's the type of mentality you need in a team like Rangers, who I really appreciate the opportunity to play at a team like Rangers. I want to be lost in them. They're not got an eye peering down here, or they want to go here, there and everywhere. No, they've fought tooth and nail to get up to this level. Now they've went to Rangers, and just like Connor Barron, for every minute they're on the park, they play like it really means everything to them. The more of that shared mentality, the better, in my opinion. So I think I've made it very clear, I'm very happy with this potential signing of Lyall Cameron. think he's a very talented player that's been getting better and better, and every time I watch him he is a more a complete player. But I want to hand the reins over to you guys right frickin' now. What do you feel about Lyall Cameron? Because I know when I made that video last time there was people a wee bit unsure of him and everything like, oh, he's another small player, that's not what we need, etc, etc. And again, you can't blame a player or down a transfer because it's not everything else that we want, like somebody that can win a ball in the air and a defence. And he's not a centre back, he's not going to do that job, but he could do a very different job and strengthens the overall matchday squad, and that's what we need. Because sometimes when I look at that bench, it is rotten, and sometimes when we dip into that bench, the standards fall through the floor, and I think he bridges that gap between potential starter, right away, he could be a starter, but also that as well, and that gives rotations and everything like that as well, and keeps the level up, which we badly need, so we're not just a good 45-minute team every single season. So let me know your opinions down there on Lyall Cameron. Do you want this to happen? It's cheap as chips, and there's obviously a potential compensation fee. Now, I made a wee joke the other day saying, well, we signed Glenn Kamara for 50k and everything like that, can we offer 49 for Lyall? I feel like it'll be a little bit more than that because of the compensation that'll be owed to Dundee, as they've actually trained him and brought him all the way through. Kamara left Arsenal to go to Dundee, that's why he was so cheap. So I have seen that banter around, it's probably my fault for making that daft joke, but obviously if we want Lyall, we're going to need to pay a wee bit for him, or if we get him in the summer, we also need to pay a wee compensation fee, similar to Connor Barron. So it'll be interesting to see what the club do, if they can get it over the line. Is he needed in January? You can let me know down in the comment section below. Until next time, I've been CJ92. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and bye-bye.